of them really showed to be the slower one. In fact, if there's any slight edge in list, it's the fact that Fake has Harrison Jones and Firebat doesn't. So Firebat doesn't have, I guess, a more useless card in this current matchup. But that might never even be a factor whatsoever.
Yeah, this matchup is, again, it's going to be, decided about either, I think, the very early game or the very late game. Either you're going to come up with a huge minion pretty early and get an insurmountable advantage, or it's going to get to a point where everyone's going to cast all the cards in their hands.
Yeah, it can be a lot about these tempo swings with cards like Innervate. It can be about early game wild growths. Doesn't really seem to be the case here, but we do have double Innervate on both ends to kind of match each other's big attempt to capture the tempo in their favor. And one thing that does come into play, though, is also longevity and being able to have good card advantage with stuff like Ancient of Lore. Because most likely you're going to be having your waves of minion crash into each other and trading a lot. And through that, you often have to have a little bit of the extra edge, and that's what Ancient of Lore is able to provide, which often leads players to sometimes keep it if they feel like they already have a good starting hand already. And Ancient of Lore is often a card where they think about maybe even having from the beginning, so that way they have an edge.
Wow, this play was pretty unexpected. He had the chance to innervate or innervate incline and just play a minion. He instead chose to attack the Senjin guy, and he doesn't have a swipe. Level. Yeah.
So
that is pretty interesting.
Okay. Well, now it's going to be a little bit more susceptible to Drew of the Claw. I was wondering if he's going to save his Innervate for one of the Ancients, but I don't think he can afford to take it that long.
Yeah, he can save Decline from the Ancients, which is, pretty similar. Still lets you play them in different turns as opposed to having both stuck in your hand.
All right, well, Fake also kind of caught an impasse. Does he want to build the board a little bit, or does he want to kind of ramp up for the future turns?
Yeah, the problem is that building the board a little bit is not actually building the board much. Are you going to play a Keeper and silence that or deal 2 damage to that? Like, I don't think that accomplishes much. So just hero powering it. He could trade both his guys for his opponent's Druid of the Claw.
Oh man. This is kind of funny because neither player wants to kind of dedicate their board clear and just say, you should attack into me so that way I can pick up a better trade. But Firebat, he's the one who already did it in the first place. And now his curve is looking really good. He's got turns 5 through 7 locked up with strong, powerful drops. Fake did pick up a good minion himself in Sunwalker, but with things like Ancient of Lore, you can almost expect Firebat to pull far ahead if Fake can't do anything in response.
Yeah, and he has the Keeper for the Sunwalker. So even then, it's not going to be fantastic. Yeah, and I had the choice of playing, he could play Sledge Belcher, he could play Keeper. He could even play Keeper Wrath or Keeper Hero Power if he wants to. He really drops Sledge Belcher, okay. I guess he's not interested in silencing that Sunwalker. Because if you wait a turn, the Divine Shield will be gone, and silencing it will lose a lot of its appeal. So you kind of either silence it immediately or you just save your Keeper for later. Yes, he's saving for later. It's a good thing too, because Fake drews Ledge Belcher, which is also a good target.
Yeah, I think you don't want to sacrifice too much of your own board just so you can deal basically 1 damage on the board. The taunt isn't really the big factor. It's the idea that the Sunwalker can get a lot of value off the Divine Shield. So it makes total sense, and Firebat's kind of just going to go with it. Plus, he also has great curve in the next couple of turns, and you don't want to miss this opportunity to play Sludge Belcher versus in future turns. You might not be able to.
Well, it ended up being 3 damage, not 1 damage, because he wasn't able to attack into a 3-power guy and use the Divine Shield for that. But yeah, definitely reasonable to save your Keeper. He's going to be good now. So now he's probably just going to play a 7-drop. Ooh.
Oh, wait, I forgot about Black Knight. Firebat has Black Knight. That's an insane swing in this matchup.
Yeah, is it better than Harrison Jones?
Oh, it's much better. There is absolutely no Harrison Jones can get value in this matchup. So Black Knight is, in that case, infinitely better, because something over nothing is actually undefined.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Fake picks up Sentient Shield Master, and he needs to kind of find ways to keep his board relevant. Because there's one way. I mean, the way you can also beat someone like Ancient of Lore is that you take control of the board and never seize the momentum away. And then even if they have card advantage, the board's just too big for them to fight back. And that's what something like Scenarios can do. But it's still kind of a situation where you have to be very careful.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it doesn't matter how many cards you have in your hand if you can only cast one spell a turn. Which is what's going to happen now, for next couple turns, he's probably just going to cast one big guy a turn. His opponent has 4 minions in play. So imagine he does have something like Black Knight now, that would be an insanely huge swing.
Alright, is it time to plop down the +2/+2 and give yourselves
I think
16 worth of stats on top of this 5/8 body?
Yeah, definitely. You don't even lose, you have to throw 2 guys at that Ancient of War, but you only lose 1. The keeper stays alive, that's pretty good.
Alright, well, he's putting on pressure. Keep in mind, Fake does have Force of Nature and Savage Roar in his deck, and he has one of the combo pieces already. So, Firebat has to kind of keep this in mind. I think he recognizes that Fake also uses a very similar deck list to he does. It's been popularized by players like Dog and other people who have been taking it on the streams, and at least in the West, that is. And now Firebat has to kind of be careful not to be careless and just die here.
Yeah, and Black Knight is a very nice way to get tempo back, because even though you're only playing, he played 2 spells here, but you're only playing 1 spell, it effectively counts as 2. So it's definitely a good start, but he is going to take a lot of damage here. He could drop down to 9 life, -1 from the hero power, and his opponent does have Force of Nature.
Yeah, that's right. With Force of Nature and Hero Power, that's 15 damage. So,
yeah, and he's not close to threatening lethal himself because, well, first he doesn't have it, but if he did, his opponent has a taunt guy. So your Fake has to be thinking: do I want to kill that 4/5 and kind of play it safe, or do I just gonna go for the throat here?
I think if you kill off the 4/5, but then play 2 5-drops, I think you're still in a just as dominant position to potentially end it.
Yeah, probably. So actually, now he could get comboed, and he's gonna lose his 3 guys.
Yeah, this is where I think Force Nature Savage Roar could be made a case for.
Yeah, he would still keep it to 2. He still has lethal because of the Ledge Belcher, but yeah, so it's not a concern for him.
Okay, so I guess not playing around it. This keeps Firebat alive, barely, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, but doesn't win the game. He's gonna trade for the 2 5/4 guys, probably. And he's gonna take 6 and be a really low life. 7 effectively. Yeah, it looks like, even though Firebat has a lot more cards in hand, the board at this point is just too overwhelming. He has Swipe, Force of Nature, Savage Roar, Sunwalker, and he's not gonna have the chance to play those cards.
Yeah, Scenario is having a big impact, hitting 4 minions for +2/+2, and I mean, that in itself shored up a lot of they upgraded basically a lot of the smaller minions into more powerful versions. It's a 5/7 engine, it's a 3/4 slime. Just really insanely powerful. trading the Force of Nature so that way he can get more durability out of his minions and not having to trade both of his 5 attack creatures here. Or even his, even or any if he just wants to use his health. He's perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, he has still 2 taunters left. So, yeah, there's not much the Firebat can do, unfortunately. Being at 2 life, he has to clear the whole board.
Well, I think he needs a little bit of help off the top of his deck.
I don't think there is anything that he could draw off the top of his deck. He has to combo here, but then how does he finish off the last minion? He can't attack it with his head because he would go to 1 and die to the hero power.
You're right, because then his opponent can just kill him off at this point. Even if he clears the board, he's at 1 HP. Is there any defense line he could set up?
I don't think so. If he goes Sunwalker, that just takes 2 guys. Yeah.
I don't think so. You're right. And, just like we were saying, as much as sometimes this card advantage could be the one that drags out late game, it sometimes goes into a threat versus threat fatigue war. I think Fake recognized an opportunity where he could build up his board enough and win despite not having some of the key cards that helps dictate.
Is there any difference? No, yeah, he does run 1 Cold Blood, does not run Sinister Strike like Sixer did. So his build is pretty conventional.
Oh.
Well,
never mind. A little bit of a mistake on our end. Our apologies. It's going to be Hunter versus Ramp Druid, not the Miracle versus Ramp Druid.
Which is a little bit weird, because I don't think this matchup is good for Hunter. What do you think about it?
Well, I think Hunter can beat anything, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it definitely can, but is it likely? There's so many taunts. They play taunts into 4, 5, 6, 7. And you only have 2 Hunter's Marks. 1 Hunter's Mark if you were Colento. But
I don't know if I like it or not. I know part of the reason why Ramp Druid was coming out because of like a lot of aggressive hunters were coming out, and they were cutting a lot of their late game out, so you just have to stall them.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I honestly haven't played enough of the Ramp Druid to know.
Yeah, at least when I played it, I played from the Hunter side, it did not look good. But he does have the high mains, which, allow you to fight them a little bit in the late game. But even then, so many taunts. Really annoying to deal with.
Alright, well, Fake's hand's starting to really look pretty decent in terms of being able to push out things in the next couple of turns.
Okay, so he's choosing to, go for the board clear, basically.
Yep.
At the cost of taking 4 damage instead of just playing the Shieldmaster. Which I can definitely respect.
Yeah, I mean, it's as if it was a huffer anyways. You just take the damage, you clear the board. Now you're clear for something on turn 5. You deny Houndmaster. Feels like a good overall turn. Yeah,
and your 2-1 is probably good against whichever trap that is. And you have the Innervate to play a 5-10 next turn if you want to. Although he did just draw Hunter's Mark.
It's going to be Snake Trap. Now, that's one card where you're not sure if the Harvest Golem's actually kind of good against it. As the 1/1s can kind of take it out effectively and then start picking apart your board. Not to mention the synergy with Timberwolf.
So he misses. So he only has 2 Snake Traps in his deck. Yeah, if he plays a 5-10 now, it's just going to head Hunter's Marked, which would be pretty annoying. But he's still at a healthy life total. Okay, chooses to go for the one that's better against Hunter's Mark. And a little bit worse in a skill command.
Another couple of cards which are useful against what Hunter can usually throw at you. And Coin High Main seems to me like a pretty good deal, assuming your opponent doesn't have an ability to immediately respond to it. And the fact that it can kind of go uncontested on the board is extremely strong. Use Hunter's Mark now to establish dominance and deny your opponent ability to use Keeper of the Grove to silence your High Main and then let it die.
Which he did draw. So yeah, the the Gambit pays off for Fake. You know, he got rid of the Hunter's Mark on his 5 instead of his 5/10, so that's pretty good for him. Though he actually needs to wait an extra turn to play the 5/10 here. Can't just Gambit now. Will it be Senjin or Keeper?
All right. Well, he's going to try to address the high main now, so that way next turn, if he plays Ancient of Lore, it's going to be a lot stronger and resilient. So that way, you can't get the draws off high main if it's buzzard, and not to mention it's going to also sacrifice into it.
Yeah, definitely. And now he's in a little bit of trouble. Though he has to hope he didn't have another Hunter's Mark here. Because if Firebat has another one to clear the 5/10 for nothing, then that might be a lot of trouble for Firebat. Sorry, for Fake. We're just playing that Timberwolf, you know, not worried about swipe at all, just wants to get rid of the 2/4.
Oh man, another Keeper of the Grove, so that way you can snipe that 7/2, which might be of a higher priority than placing a taunt, because a taunt can easily be pushed through at this state.
Oh, he takes 13 if he does that. I don't think he can afford to.
Oh, wow. All right, and
so he's
you
gonna
said
go to
13
2.
plus the Stone Tusk Boar, right?
Well, that's lethal, but...
All right, so that's not going to pay off whatsoever, and Fake, as much as he tried to set up a resilient wall of taunts, ends up dropping, as the Hunter was able to take too much dominance, and the high main was just too big of a threat.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, again we see, you know, a situation where someone has a lot of very good cards in hand and just dies before they can cast them, which is going to be a problem with this Dre deck from time to time. You know, it runs a lot of very expensive cards. Sometimes it just doesn't get it on play.
Yeah, I think at that stage, as we go into the next game very quickly, is that you have to kind of weigh your options. What's more likely? Does he have the extra damage to kill me, or does he have the second Hunter's Mark? And I think I kind of side with you that I feel like the second Hunter's Mark is less likely here.
Well,
and then you
it's not even the extra damage. Like, what if you go to 2 life? He just passes the turn and he hero powers you next turn. You know, you can't taunt through that. So that play was basically conceding the game, I feel.
Yeah, sure. I mean, your hand was too slow, I guess, to be able to keep up with the Hunter. But there's a deck that can be really fast, and it is this one from the Priest. And if the Priest can kind of get out a lot of creatures early on to kind of take out the Hunter's threats and heal it up, whether it's using Zombie Chows, Dark Cultists, etc., then you can give Hunters a big run for their money early game to establish the board position, and they can't do much from that point on. But it seems like Fake has kind of like an awkward, clunky hand, because a lot of things are vulnerable to some of these early creatures.
Yeah, at the same time, you know, he does get to Power Word Shield his 2/1 if he wants to, and then, you know, play a North Shrine Cleric. It's not a bad situation to be in. And Firebat's hand is also kind of slow. It's going to depend a lot on what he gets from that animal. I guess, yeah, everything is a little bit decent from the Animal Companion.
Okay. Well, Huffer allows a snipe on the Cleric, which is pretty valuable, honestly.
Yeah.
If Cleric stays up, the way I like to phrase it is that Priest has a life tap every single turn, except they heal with it instead of hurt themselves.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a key card in the Priest deck. So we see the Fake picked up a Thought Still, and we knew he had that. It's not a card that all Undertaker versions use. You know, some people have been just shying away from that. They think they'd rather have more minions, but apparently Fake thinks his late game is still, you know, more important. Maybe if that's for this particular tournament, where he thinks he might get paired against, you know, a lot of Control Warrior and stuff like that, or maybe he just thinks it's a good ladder card. I know I does like it more than most people, so perhaps I'm just wrong in that.
Do you go for the Bamboozle of Snake Trap and Starving Buzzard here? Most Priest decks have stopped using a lot of stuff like Pyromancer.
Yeah, I think you could. You know, that Buzzard is not going to do anything else. It's really telegraphed now. So it's very possible that we see, just a knock-on pass from Fake. Not hoping to snipe the buzzer next turn instead of just attacking into it. But we'll see. Maybe he thinks it's a bluff. What would you do here? Would you just? I think I would just play Akanai, not attack the buzzard. That still gives him, the chance to get some value from it. He could play two beasts or something next turn. But that's, I think, better than triggering the snake trap.
I know if I was a Maz, I'd thought steal Flare at the moment. Oh my god, stampeding Kodo. He has it in his hand for the Baron Rivendare, which just came down, and he draws a card. Well,
yeah.
And he's also eliminated one
well.
Flare from his deck to potentially being thought stolen. Oh man, what a good start for Firebat.
Yeah, that did not go well for Fake. Yeah, he's probably just waiting to snipe it. He's not going to attack a creature now. He's just going to snipe the buzzer on turn 6 with Akanai. But then it already have done its job. It's going to have drawn 2 cards already.
Yeah, and it's already kind of past the point where you're not really too afraid of losing it. Plus, you still get 1/1s to fight back against the board.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And you have the high main, which is the most important aspect of it.
Yeah, and a second one in your hand. So both players with a lot of late game cards in their hands, 2 Tots Steel for one, and high main and Leroy for the other. So I think he has to play Akanai and snipe the 2/1 here. What can he do if he just attacks? This is what you said. You still get the snakes even if you don't draw cards. It would be glorious if it just wasn't Snake Trap. It was just, well, I guess he would have triggered any other by now since he attacked face, but a really cool opportunity is to play around those traps and just bluff something else.
Well, gosh, this is so annoying for Fake. Like, how do you deal? The snake trap is just such a problem. You want to snipe this buzzard, but now you're going to be completely wrecked by this high main, and high main number 2 is going to also be a problem.
Maybe you just race, just attack face here. Just ignore his guys.
I hate racing against hunters.
Oh yeah, it's not very easy.
Oh, he has Hunter's Mark too to attack, to basically snipe whatever this Dark Cultist can even buff. He's got double high main. Oh my goodness, this game has gotten way out of control, PV.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Okay, he chooses to deal with the. He's just gonna leave the Akanai there.
All right.
Yeah, now he could get his board clear by double circle.
That's true. I mean, the idea of using the Hunter's Mark there was that he would keep his high main as healthy as possible, so that way it's difficult for his opponent to remove. Firebat is so ahead and he feels comfortable that he's just basically snacking and kind of rehydrating at this point. In fact, I think I've seen him pick up 4 different beverages in the past 5 minutes.
Power source. But yeah,
I don't even think he's sponsored by any of those.
But even if he has 2 circles, he still doesn't kill one group of small tokens from the high main.
Right.
So he would need a power word shield plus double circle, or double circle and a holy nova.
Well, I guess he's gonna get a full unleash, I guess. 7 or 6 minions on his board.
Pretty cool, given a taste of their own medicine. Unfortunately, not going to be enough here, I don't think. Because it's not going to do anything to those 2 7 high mains that are there.
No. And there's Leroy waiting in the hand of Firebat, ready to be put into the game and end this 3rd game and send it into 4th.
Yeah, here, probably just trading off. No, just going for the face. Okay. Feels like he cannot beat any sort of damage spell anyway, so might as well try to win the game. It's a very reasonable approach.
Sure. But, you know, he's got him covered. He just needed that one extra damage. Ooh, I like it. Firebat searching for another way to win. Yes, kill him with more doggies. Please do it.
You know his one, though, because he used hero power before Flare.
Right.
So he would never do that if he didn't have the game on. Could have been better executed.
All right, there you go. Fake's going to drop his pre-stack. Firebat wins 2 in a row with Hunter. And now you're starting to go back. Well, it's going to be tricky. Because let's break down a little bit of why this matchup might be hard. For anybody who's just not getting who's not playing a lot and doesn't get a lot of the experience on ladder for Handlock versus Hunter, the problem is that Handlock often drains its own health to life tap, and that helps Hunter. And your big threats can be easily dealt with. Not to mention that if you get to the point where Molten Giants are a factor, Hunter has reach over the course of a few turns to use direct damage to end the game. So it's a little tricky for Handlock. Very tricky, in fact, to try and secure a good enough board to fight back, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue really is that you rely on big taunt minions to win the late game, but then the Hunter can just kill you through that. You know, their hero power is just so powerful against you, and kill command also is so much damage. But this is a good start. You know, having early creatures, I think, is important for Fake. You know, as opposed to normal matchups, you just want a hero power on turns 2 and 3 with Warlock. I feel like, you know, he basically just wants to draw minions here and try to establish some board control while he's already, while he's still at a high life total.
Okay, and you know, Fake can't really. I mean, he mulliganed away the Mountain Giant because he knows that he's going to be playing his cards a little bit more aggressively. It's not like he's going to have the luxury of tapping. Oh, this is bad news for Fake. His opponent got Leok. He can go for trades. He's also got Buzzard and Unleash. And Firebat also picked up the Beast, which is a 9/7 card that has a weird death rattle effect that many people don't often see because no one uses this card.
That's a cool name, though.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, at this point, you know, what does Firebat need? He has Hunter's Mark already. He has, you know, Unleash and Buzzard, which comes to that, and he has the Beast. I can't imagine him needing anything else.
Well, Fake probably discarded the best possible selection there. Mountain Giant was going to be sitting dead for at least another 5-6 turns.
Yeah, definitely the best use for Mountain Giant in this matchup. Just discarding to Soulfire. So what does he do here? If he silences the Watcher, it will be able to attack, so you don't want to do that. At the same time, you don't want to spend Hunter's Mark on a small guy. You know, comparatively small. For many decks, it would be a big guy, but for this deck, it's, you know, kind of small. So we might see it. I think we might see Fake winning this game.
Well, let's hold off our judgments until we see what happens when you unleash and Buzzard, and you have Timberwolf, and basically there's just a huge wave of non-stop doggies raining down on your parade, because every single minion that builds up on the Handlock side is another dog, 2/1 dog that's going to be coming down, and Fake is going to be struggling because it's going to be a situation where he doesn't want to tap too much, maybe once or twice throughout the course of this game. But then he's not going to be having that many cards left compared to Hunter, who's going to have a full hand.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely not good for him, but, you know, this is a pretty good position to be in for the Warlock deck by turn 6. You know, at 28 life with a better board. You can't hope for much more than that. It's still probably not enough, but, you know, it's one of her best bets, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. All right,
You know,
well, it's time.
Yeah,
Prepare
4 cards
yourself,
is a
Fake.
lot.
Prepare yourself, Fake. This won't happen too many more times, we promise you that. All right, still has one Hunter's Mark. Kill Command is also a very important card to grab early on. Or maybe not early on, excuse me, as the time goes on, but the earlier you have it, it gives you more flexibility.
Yeah, just gonna Hunter's Mark that now because his opponent can't even play a big dude if he draws one. You know, can't play Mountain Giant. Certainly can't play Mountain Giant. I might as well just go for it.
Okay, well, now Handlock's top decking, and you're going to be attacking into some of these minions on board.
Yeah, and the board's kind of even, except one person has 7 cards in hand.
Yeah, that's a pretty big exception, I guess.
Lab totals are similar.
Wow, I guess they're almost dead even in that department.
So yeah, definitely not looking good for Fake here.
Well, at least I guess it's like what you're saying. He is winning on board, but for how much longer? When Firebat pops like high mains down, it's just gonna be lights out. There's actually no way to deal with something like this.
Yeah, do you think we're even gonna see the Beast? I don't think so.
I think you do if you're gonna win. If you have like only 5 damage you're missing and you have kill command on the turn, drop the Beast and then kill command. Just please. Just for me, Firebat.
Yeah, at this point, you know, he could play Savannah High Main, he could play Kill Command. Both players are definitely fine. Ooh, chooses to trade. Interesting. That's rewarded because his opponent draws Shadow Flame, which would kind of clear the board, but yeah, Fortunate Drake also not really the best card.
No, not at all. It's a 2 health creature. It dies to Mad Scientist.
Yeah. I was going to trade with the 4-3. There's that, but... Maybe it's going to get Shadow Flamed?
Is there a possibility for that? I don't know.
But it's only 2 toughness, means he can't even hero power into Power Overwhelming to at least clear the board, like attack the Hyena. And if it was 3 toughness, he would be able to do that.
Oh, you should attack face before you do that, Fake.
Yeah, probably. He's just out of it.
Yeah, I think he's kind of resigned himself that, I can't win this. Gosh. But small steps like that, you never know. Could be the difference, but it's, again, highly unlikely. Oh, I love it.
The Beast.
Please do it, Firebat. No. Oh, come on. No, he looked at the webcam like, oh my god, should we do it? Oh, come on, dude. Don't be like that. Yes! Yes, do it! No!
What a tease.
Come on. Alright. I am subtracting as many style points as I can from Firebat right now.
Well, those are pretty decent draws. Not gonna help much, but yeah.
No. And now we'll never see the legendary card, the Beast, played yet again in competitive play. Fake drops the series, and he had a